Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in and being here, coming back, being here for the first time, whatever. If you like it, please give us a 5-star review and then share it with your friends and see how many of them think you are a crazy lunatic for listening to me. I am sure you'll find one or two that say, hey, where'd you get your tin hat? Because believe me, I have people telling me I wear a tin hat. Whatever. That's the best they got. Bring it on, I guess. Okay, today may not be the most exciting, informative podcast, but I think that it's something that needs to be addressed because I have been seeing a lot of this in the agriculture world. And I actually did a Facebook Live the other day, and I was on a bit of a rant because people are just absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know if it's just happening at large quantities lately or if I am just more irritated than normal. You know, the negativity is crazy. And I seen a post on Facebook, and I see a lot of these, and maybe I need to stay off Facebook. I see a lot of these posts that say, well, it's not easy for young farmers to get into the industry. It's not easy for farmers because it's not raining and, it's hailed and whatever. And I just sit back and go, who said it was going to be easy? Like, did somebody come up to you and say, hey, let's be a farmer because it's easy? Hey, let's start a business because it's easy. Nobody said it's going to be easy. Nobody said you didn't have to work for it. What did our ancestors do when they came over? And, my dad was sharing with me, he's been doing a lot of reading on history, and he was reading a book on the history of our area being homesteaded. And the fact that these Germans came over and they had to live on the land for a year before they would get a deed to this land. And a lot of them had, multiple children. They dug a hole in the ground, they tipped their wagon upside down, and that's what they lived in. We have a house to live in, a car to drive, food to eat, and we sit here whining about it's not easy. Who said it was supposed to be easy? When I started my business, I didn't complain about the fact that it was supposed to be easy. I did complain. Oh, don't get me wrong. I complained about the fact that people didn't listen and people are closed-minded. But I didn't sit here and say, well, this should have been easier. Do we appreciate things that come to us easily, like the cars and the house and the food? Or are we just super unappreciative of those things and expect things to be easier? It's not going to be easy to buy land. It's not going to be easy to make money every year, not knowing if it's going to rain, not knowing if prices of your fuel and your fertilizer and your chemical and hay goes up. My gosh, $200 a ton right now for hay. I seen somebody posted something that's going to be like $250 a ton. I just talked to a gentleman today that they have nothing basically for hay. And he was selling hay. That's how he was making money. They can't even irrigate because there's not enough water in their area to even irrigate with. He's not complaining that it's hard. Instead, we have to pivot and try to find another way and try to do something else. This whole easy mentality is spreading like wildfire. Everybody wants it to be easy or wants it to be less hard. Okay, are we asking how we can make that happen? How do we make it easier? Not just can you make it easier? Really, is it somebody else's responsibility to make it easier for us? Or are we supposed to make it easier on ourselves? I mean, I look at my business and the majority of people are following me on Facebook. That's how the majority of my clients are finding me, is social media. Well, guess what? Facebook now says, oh, we can't follow Apple users. Well, has it put a kink in everything that we're doing? Yep. Is it harder? Just finding a different way around it. And I have the correct team around me that has the same thought process. Let's just find a different way. Okay, I can't make money selling corn. What can I do? I want to buy a farm. I want to start farming. How can I do that? I just addressed a similar topic to this in one of my podcasts just a few back, talking about how do I compete with the bigger farmers? Do we want to compete? Do we need to look at it differently? I talked about the same thing, but I am really, really tired of people saying it should be easy. It's too hard. We're not getting a fair shake. How do we make it fair? What do we do to make a profit? How do we look at things differently? As I am recording this, I just got off of a meeting with a Dave Ramsey coach. Not a fan, a Dave Ramsey coach. He taught people how to be debt-free for years. Worked with Dave Ramsey. Back in the 90s, he would have been a certified coach in today's standards. But he said, this is the second time in my life now that I've had to start over. It's not easy for him. But what's more mind-blowing is that he was never taught about cash flow. He was never taught how to think differently. He was programmed to pay off debt. And that's what you do. And he has had to drain his 401k twice now because of 2008 and 9. He had a business. He had to figure out how he was going to live when that shut down, and the pandemic. It's the second time he's had to start over at 55 years old. The second time. He said this is mind-blowing to think about cash flow. Mind-blowing. Nobody has taught him that. He's read Robert Kiyosaki. He understands the whole concept of having rental properties, but he didn't understand how to get rental properties. He didn't understand how to think differently about generating income and what avenues we can generate income from, right? So if we continue to think, well, it's not easy, and stop asking, how can I? We're going to be stuck and it's not easy and we're never going to get anywhere. Nobody's handing you anything, folks. You better go out and take it and figure out how you're going to get it and how you're going to do that. My big farmers, my farmers that are farming 5, 6, 7, 20,000 acres, it wasn't easy. They figured out how to do it. My farmers that just started from scratch, which I have a lot of them, they didn't say it was easy. It was hard, off the farm jobs, probably still off the farm jobs. It is not something that is just going to land in your lap and everything's going to be roses all the time. How we look at that and our thought process to it is what's going to determine if we're successful or not. We have a pandemic of stinkin thinkin in the agriculture world right now. And I get it's hard and I get it's easy to go there. Believe me, I may not farm. And most of you say, well, you don't understand. Oh, BS. I have a business. It was never easy. I couldn't even afford $1 coffee from McDonald's. Don't tell me it's been handed to me. I've had to figure out how I get here. I had massive amounts of debt. And was it scary as all get out? Absolutely it was. But I had to figure out how I was going to get out of that and get to where I'm at today. If we want to start farming, let's figure out how we're going to get there. We might have to work really hard for a couple years to get our feet under us, but it's possible. This mentality and this thought process that I have been seeing in the egg industry, talking about how it is impossible and we need this from the government and we need that from the government. Do we, with handouts, okay, with getting money from the government, and I shouldn't call them handouts, with getting money from the government and getting government help means we invite the government into our business. We cannot say, help me, and then you have no say. That's like saying, hey, Mr. Banker, lend me $1 million, but now you can't tell me what I can and can't do. Oh, if the bank lends you $1 million, they're going to tell you what you can and can't do. Absolutely, all day long. We have done this as non-farmers, and we have done it as farmers and ranchers, right? Ranchers have been very good about keeping that government at bay. And now they're saying, well, we need some help. Do we need government assistance, or do we need to figure out our own numbers to get back to where we need to be so we don't need their assistance? Is that going to be easy? Not a chance. Nowhere near being easy. No, and no. But if we want assistance, then we invite a business partner in. Do we want the government to be our business partner? Most of you listening don't even want a business partner, period, because you are also independent thinking. Easy comes at a price. And what price do we want to pay for easy? Do we want to complain, moan, and groan constantly about what's happening? Or do we want to look at the bright side of what's happening and figure out, how do we pivot to get around this? Is that what's going to make us better? I can tell you, every successful farmer that I have as a client, every successful farmer that I have talked to, do not sit back and say, oh, I can't. They pivot and they figure out how. And they don't expect things to be easy. They expect to have to work for it. They just do. They just do what needs to be done. Something for you guys to chew on today, which had basically nothing to do with infinite banking. I can tie it all in and say, creating a life insurance policy and a pool of money is not easy. That's not going to happen overnight as well, right? Everybody wants everything tomorrow. I've talked about it a million times. I'm not going to talk about it again. But I just felt like, I don't know why. I see it all the time. I don't know why I felt like I needed to address it today, but I felt like I needed to address it today. So I addressed it. Along with, if you guys care to go listen to my rant on Facebook, you can. I was upset and still annoyed with the fact that people in this industry do nothing but scream and yell at each other and belittle each other. And we should be an industry that is helping each other, that is pulling each other up by our bootstraps, because so many people are fighting against us right now, but instead we're tearing each other down. And it absolutely blows my mind. These keyboard warriors are out at full force, and perhaps if they put their energy someplace else, they themselves would probably be successful. I will guarantee you the keyboard warriors are not successful because they're spending all their time on Facebook thinking that they're so damn smart and they can tell everybody else what to do. And, as other people say, living in mom and dad's basement. I mean, it's amazing to me what we are fighting with. And yet we want everything to be easy, but we can't even help each other out in our own industry. Unreal. Okay. That is what I have to share today. Maybe not going to be your favorite podcast, but hey, leave me 5 stars anyway, just because you like me. If you didn't like me, you wouldn't come back because you're not going to waste your time. There's nobody to comment. Keyboard warriors not welcome. Let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you have a topic that you want me to address. MaryJo@withoutthebank.com. I am happy to listen. Please share the podcast. If you've not gotten the book yet, grab the book at this point. You guys, you can get in to see me pretty much right away. So if you are at all interested in this concept, now is the time really to make your appointment, because this is going to put you in a position of having a place to put money this fall while you are harvesting and have some income coming in. So if you can make the time in July, that might be a good option if you're not in the field spraying or anything. I know July is usually kind of a down month. So if you do have the time, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, I'll talk to you whenever you are ready. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.